In 1994, a 6-foot-tall, 200-pound man was screaming at a 7-year-old child. She had streams of tears rolling down her face as she gazed at the floor. For a moment, the screaming stopped. And as she looked up into his rage-filled eyes, he shouted, "Stop screaming like a fucking little bitch." This would become the soundtrack to her life. Every day, he would break her heart until one day, he broke her soul. She did anything to hide from the pain. She hid so well that she couldn't even find herself. For she had adorned her cage so beautifully, she forgot that she was locked inside. This is the story of how my life began. We all live in some kind of cage. Have you seen yours? Maybe there's comfort in the familiarity. Have you felt yours? Anxiety, panic attacks, depression. Have you heard yours? I am not enough. No one will ever love me. I'm always in the way. I remember when I got out of that house of horrors, and it was such sweet relief. My new home had joyful sounds of music and laughter. It had the playful barks of my beloved dog. I had counted down to that moment for so long, and I was so happy. I even started to work on all my childhood trauma. I read every self-help, every psychology book that you could think of. I practiced an array of holistic healing modalities, and I loved it. Yet that soundtrack wouldn't stop playing. I did anything to mute it. Drugs, relationships, partying, if it was a scene club, whatever it was, I was there. If it was a quick fix, I wanted it. But just as quick as it came, it left. I started to see this odd pattern emerge. I'd run away from this man that caused all my trauma. Yet I found myself in the same movie consistently. Different cities, different states, different names. Yet all the roles remained. And so did mine. How is this happening to me? I am so kind to everyone. How are different versions of my father showing up consistently in my life? And then I realized the person I was unkind to, that I was over demanding of, that I told would never be enough, was me. I was a prisoner of trauma, and I was the jailkeeper. I began to realize that the only way out was through the demons that lined the exit. But could I face them? I had spent my entire childhood compartmentalizing my experiences in order to survive. Facing them felt like death. but so did staying in this cage. Yet here I remained, paralyzed, too scared to move out. Until one day, these demons got so loud that I had to ask myself, what is scarier? A life lived inside this cage, or never living a life outside of it? I realized I was terrified by the reality that if I didn't do this, I was going to waste my life. I would never live. I would never know what it was like to be truly happy, to be loved. How could I choose to waste my life? I decided I was ready to test out the waters of meditation, and I would do it slowly. So in true Capricorn fashion, I signed up for a 2.5-day silent meditation retreat. Let's just say it was quite the pill to swallow right out the gate. But very soon thereafter, I was physically craving the bliss that meditation gave me. Meditation took my hand and it pulled me out. It introduced me to my inner child who all along just wanted to be seen. She wanted to be heard. She wanted to be told everything is okay. I listened to all her stories, her traumas and her fears, and I wept so deeply for that little girl. Until one day, she could no longer be found adorning her cage. She made it out. I made it out. Meditation showed me who I am and what made me really happy. I swapped drugs and alcohol for herbal elixirs and meditation cushions, crystals, Palo Santo. I was happy. And then something else started to shift. My greatest tormentor started to transform into my greatest teacher. How in the world is it that the man that caused my trauma was all of a sudden one that I realized had given me everything I was so happy about in life? Talk about a plot twist. 6 weeks ago, after a decade of not speaking, I picked up the phone and I called him. I told him that my life would not be as beautiful or meaningful without his teachings. For everything that made my heart sing came from him. In 2020, a 6-foot-tall, 200-pound man wept on FaceTime. He had streams of tears rolling down his face as he gazed at the floor. And as he looked up into his daughter's eyes, she said, "Everything is okay. I love you." This is the soundtrack that meditation gave me. So I ask you, what soundtrack do you want your life to play?